Welcome once again to Quick Reviews. This is episode 12 and the last regular quick reviews I will be doing. I won't be doing any more quick reviews on a weekly basis. I'm not going away at all. I was actually thinking of taking a break from YouTube for various reasons, but I decided to stick around uh, and just not do the weekly thing because it's become very difficult for me to keep up with that weekly schedule. I usually like to get all my books on time so I could do this video. Sometimes, for whatever reason, the books are late. One of my smaller shop, I've had at least maybe twice this month, or yeah, maybe twice this month, or last month and part of this month, earlier this month, where my smaller shop was closed on the comic book day. So, I had to come the following week. So that kind of would delay the videos, and sometimes it's just very, very hard for me to keep the weekly pace as well. So I will be doing much more sporadic review videos. I mean, I've been doing this is like the weekly reviews, where I show all of my books and talk about them. Has been quite a staple on my channel since I started a year ago. But I just decided I need a change of pace. Not pressure myself on getting all these videos out on a weekly basis because then it's not fun anymore. It just becomes like work. You know, just I have to do the videos and you know it's not fun. So everything else stays the same. I've got my 1 year contest going on, so please send in your entries. I'll leave the link to the video where I talk about the contest, so you can send in your questions and your answers. So you can actually do two things. You can make a video or leave in the comments your question with your answer. uh, I may You have until May 11th that week, the week of the 11th. I'll do a video answering the questions, and I actually will have the drawing maybe the week after for the prizes. In fact, next week I'll be getting the book, the trade that I chose to go with the other prices that I've already shown, and I'll probably do show everything in that upcoming video. I've only gotten a few entries. Please send in your questions. There are no limits to who can enter. You know, you can be a subscriber, you can be just a viewer that hasn't subscribed. Um, the only limit, the only restriction is age. 18 and older can enter, and you can enter from anywhere in the world. I've been checking the shipping fees, and I can actually handle that. It's not cheap, but I feel it's not too expensive. And for example, uh, shipping rates for the States and Canada are the same. So I don't care if it from wherever it comes from. I think they're very decent rates. So anyway, on to the books. Um, so this week wasn't very light. In fact, I did not get one of my books, and that's Superman number 30. My smaller shop didn't get um, didn't get it. Had the small shop just didn't have their books yet. You know, which is rare. So I could have gone yesterday to pick up my book, Superman. But I had a family affair, so I'll be picking that up this week. That's coming, or this week. I actually wanted to shop twice this week because the larger shop I go to, they have a Twitter account, and they usually tell people, if the books are gonna be late, or if their books arrived, and they're just, setting them up. On Wednesday, didn't say anything. I took a chance on Thursday. They just had gotten their books, and they were, placing them. Uh, so I felt like, I wasted my time. But, not really, because I actually did look a bit around uh, the shop. But, I ended up going on Friday, got my stuff from the shop, from that shop. But, when I went to the smaller shop, their books hadn't arrived. So, you know, no Superman for me this week. So, anyways, I'm rambling on. So let's get on to the reviews. First up, Aquaman number 30. Oh, I've been enjoying Jeff Parker's run a lot. Basically, the story that features Hercules sort of ended um, for that time. They're setting up a team up with Wonder Woman that will be coming on later. They still have the next they're setting up the something appearance, and the one that I took me by surprise is Mira gets her own little storyline as well. You know there was an assassination attempt against Mira, and this is really cool, the fact that she gets her own story, and that is not directly linked to Aquaman's own adventures, if you will. Uh, I've been enjoying Park, like I said, as he's really, not just setting up, the next arc, but like I think Geoff Johns did, where each arc will just lead to the next arc. While here, he's just setting down the pieces for various upcoming arcs, various very upcoming stories. So that was very cool. Flash number 30, the first issue starting the first issue with the new team, of Robert Vendetti, Van Jensen, and Brett Booth. So this is pretty much setting up the whole Wally West thing, but mostly just the aftermath of Forever Evil. This is a Forever Evil aftermath issue, number like most issues this month are post Forever Evil, so they're just picking up the pieces of that, and this issue basically focused on that. So there is not a real sense of what this run is going to feel like just yet, but I really enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'll look forward to the next issue and the annual that's coming out next week. Teen Titan number 30, the last issue by of this run of the book. The Scott Lobdell run, and of this first new 52 volume. We know in July we get a new number one, and this issue can, in part, it does feel like a final issue, but in part, it felt rushed. Every ongoing subplot that Lobdell had set out, is just pretty much resolved just like that. There's this thing that was going on with Raven. You know, she was sort of plotting against with her dad. Trigon. She was plotting to against the Titans, and then this issue. Everything just like that. She's no longer under the control of Trigon, and just like, oh, my time in the future sort of severed that connection, like that, just like that, just ended. And of course, Carapace isn't in this issue, so very misleading cover as well. I did like that. You know, it's a 3.99 book, and it has a nice little backup with featuring a Bunker and Beast Boy. So you know this title is over for the time being, and like I said, everything just kind of ended. Sort of like a clean end, so that the next team that takes over, the new number one, has pretty much a clean slate to start with. But it did feel kind of rushed, and yeah. Then we have All-Star Western number 30. Um, so I'm sad, they did kill, Gina, the girl from the future. I would have loved to see, uh, stories with her in the past. That would have been a lot of fun, but they're moving on. So in this issue, uh, Hex reunited with Tallulah Black. Pretty much that's it. You know, you know that's pretty much it. In fact, the Gina Hex story was kind of short because we have a backup featuring Madame 44. Uh, I really like the backups as well in these that show up or had shown up in this title. Most of them are origin stories for new versions of older characters, or new characters, new Western characters as well. Of course, Madame 44 is a really old DC Western character dating back to, I believe, the late 50s or early 50s, when she made her debut in All Star Western, the renamed All Star Comics from the 40s. Uh, so, yeah, again, I really, really enjoy this book as I always do. So, I did get two new books that I wanted to try out since they were announced. Uh, and let's get to them. So first up, just looking at number 0. Uh, I gotta say I was excited to get this book finally. Another Justice League book taking over, replacing Justice League of America. Pretty much a new team featuring old characters, new characters. And it's getting into a very good start. I really like the story. Get a little bit of Equinox, her earlier prints here already. But the main plot of the main story, focuses on an alien plot that has to do with hybrids. Something they want to do with hybrids, and shows up with like this baby with really weird powers. It's a fun book. I really like the interaction between the characters. A lot. It's fun. It's funny as well. Um, so definitely worth checking out. I really enjoy Jeff Lemire's writing in this. The art by Mike McCone, that was probably the biggest surprise for me, really. In fact, because I've I've known McCone's art since probably the last volume of Teen Titans that he did with Geoff Johns. You know, and his style here is different. Um, hard to describe. Hard to describe. It does still have a bit of his old style, but it does get a little bit, kind of cartoony at times. A little bit like that, but not really. Hard to describe. The colorist though is uh Marcelo Maiolo, the same colorist that does Green Arrow, and somehow his coloring at times doesn't seem to fit this book as well as it does Green Arrow. With Sorrentino's art, it's a perfect match, for Sorrentino's is a little bit sketchy, a little bit, rougher, with very imaginative layouts. Macone is a little bit more traditional, uh, and the same things that he does on Green Arrow to create a little bit more of an impact in the storytelling doesn't work as well here. We have his traditional, his classic, sort of, leaving the the negative space here and then just using the background, sort of add a little bit more drama to it. It's not as effective as it is in the Green Arrow book. So, but it definitely has, it definitely, this is a colorist that does have, sorry about that, that does have a very distinct style. I know a lot of colorists that don't, just look at the coloring and you don't really pay much attention to it. But Maiolo does have his own stamp on the on his coloring, unlike like unlike most. But I don't know if it really fits this book yet. Um, but like I said, I really enjoyed this first issue. The other book is Secret Origins, issue number one. It's a nice thick book, um, 40 pages, uh, 4.99, so it's totally worth it. So the last Secret Origin book that I remember was showed up back in the post-crisis, and it sort of served to update the old update the origins for the new continuity. It just came out pretty much immediately. That first issue features Superman, the Golden Age Earth 2 Superman, and that was drawn by artist, Golden Age, early Silver Age artist Wayne Boring, his last work before his death. And I really like that, this new volume also starts out with Superman. So it has three stories here: Superman, Robin, and Supergirl. In fact, that's how they are ordered in the book. So it's a Robin sandwich with Superman, super family brand bread. So what did I think of each story? Uh, since it's for three stories, uh, gotta say, they were more um, emotional. I mean, we've actually already seen Origins. We saw Origins. in the zero issues. In the case of Superman in Action Comics. So does this add to what we already know? Superman's origin is very well known, but what Greg Pak did here um, was, you know, tell the Superman's early years from the point of view of from the maternal point of view. So we have scenes and captions that are narrated by both Laura and Martha Kent. Sometimes they even overlap each other, if you will. So it's a little bit more emotional. He also takes advantage of what is known and uses some key scenes from Grant Morrison's own run. And it practically ends, the experimental practically ends with, you know, this scene from Action Comics number 0. The art is by Lee Wicks, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So really good art. But it was a little bit of it was a little bit more emotional than just giving you the typical origin. Same goes for the Robin origin with Dick Grayson, done by Kyle Higgins and Doug Mankey. Um, Also a little bit of a more emotional thing. It talks about you know the death of his parents. Being adopted. They've been taken adopted by or going to the custody of Bruce Wayne. His own search for revenge, against, Zuko, to the point where, finally, Batman, reveals himself as Bruce Wayne, you know, the training, but most importantly, why he chose the Robin name. So I I know there was an origin in Nightwing number 0, which I did not read, but I don't know if that adds something to that uh, story. Then we go to the Supergirl story by Tony Bernard and Paulo Siqueira. Again, we have with Supergirl we've gotten like a partial origin. Again, with issue number 0, we learn how Supergirl, got into the rocket and was launched into the world. In Secret Origins, we kind of see more of her relationship with her mother, with her father, with her family. She's still someone who likes to help people, uh, and and sometimes like she's as and she ends up saying to girls that have escaped the camp where they were training for their trials, um, but helping them got her into trouble. Uh, we see or we learn that Supergirl admires, you know, the L women. Her dad, her Uncle Jor-El, they're scientists, while Laura and her mother Allura are more action oriented. They don't think with their head. They aren't thinkers. They're more of doers. You know, we learned that Laura was a soldier. Apparently, Allura has some sort of political law and order sort of position in Argo City. So she admires that. we learned more, we get a little more detail to her origin revealed in issue number 0. We learned that, you know, Zor-El was sort of experimenting uh, to sort of help Kryptonians survive that destruction. Supergirl, was part of that, sort of a way to her, enhance her, give her, but to survive. Which, you know, I actually sort of knew that what Sorrel was doing, So we get, the sort of like the world killers and everything. Uh, yeah, and then we go to the moment where, you know, Sorrel tricks Kara to get into the rocket. We learned that Sorrel had been trying to enhance their sort of ceremonial clothing. Um, what else? And then we sort of end with in the present. Well, I don't know if it's in the present because it's sex actually wearing her regular costume. But we end up with Supergirl saving a North Korean I guess you could say spaceship that was about to crash to Earth, and Superman catches up to her, and they have their discussion, and pretty much Supergirl wants to be a hero in her own terms. Oh yeah. Um, so I really like the story. It does um, show a little bit more of who Supergirl is. Where Tony Bedard wants to take the character once she's out of the whole Red Lantern thing. A lot of books, a lot of books. Oh, and I really really like the cover by who did the cover? Uh, Liber Bermejo. Really love the cover. And speaking of covers, I was gonna comment on this cover where Supergirl is way behind. You have the whole like team here, and then Supergirl is just really far. So I this is the only thing I don't like is that uh Lemire has said that Supergirl is gonna be sort of like a loner, even though she's part of the team. She's gonna be like a loner, and I don't know, you know, seeing what Bedard is doing, what Soul is doing in Red Lanterns with Supergirl, it sort of contradicts this image and what Lemire is going to do. So, anyways, those are my books for this week. Um, so remember, send in your entries to the contest. You have what, 2 weeks before the contest closes. Uh, so I'm really hoping to read all of your see all of your entries, and you have really good questions for me. I've gotten a few that are making me think quite a bit. So it's almost 30 minutes here, so I'll end this um, with what I always say, which is until next time, keep smiling.